They thought he was just a nervous, newly graduated teacher, an easy target, someone they could break for fun. What they didn't know was that within 60 seconds, every cruel move they made would come crashing back on them, with consequences they would never forget. Ethan Carter stood outside room 214 with his hands slightly shaking, gripping a stack of freshly printed lesson plans. His graduation was barely a week old. The ink on his teaching certificate had hardly dried, yet here he was, his first real classroom, his first real chance to matter. He took a deep breath, straightened his tie, and reminded himself why he chose this path. He wanted to be the teacher he never had when he was younger, the one who saw the quiet kids, the ones who were bullied and ignored. As he opened the door, the noise hit him first. Laughter, desks scraping, someone throwing a paper ball across the room. The class froze for half a second when they saw him. Then the smirks appeared. At the back sat Mason Reed, the unofficial leader, legs stretched out, confidence dripping from his grin. Beside him were Tyler Brooks and Logan Price, always laughing, always watching, always waiting to strike. "So, that's our new teacher?" Mason said loudly, not even pretending to whisper. Ethan felt his throat tighten, but he smiled anyway. "Good morning, everyone. I'm Mr. Carter." A chair screeched as Tyler leaned back too far. "You look younger than my brother," he laughed. "Did you get lost on your way to college?" The class erupted. Ethan tried to continue, explaining the course, the expectations, the future they could build together. But every sentence was interrupted. A phone buzzing loudly, a pencil snapping on purpose, someone mimicking his voice. And when Ethan turned to write on the board, a crumpled note hit his shoulder. "Go back to school, rookie." That word stuck. Rookie. By lunchtime, the bullies had escalated. They locked his classroom door while he was inside. They spread rumors in the hallway that he cried in the staff room. Someone even hid his bag, forcing him to search, while students laughed from a distance. Other teachers noticed, but looked away. "First-year teachers quit all the time," one whispered. "He'll learn." But Ethan wasn't thinking about quitting. He was thinking about the kid he used to be, the one who stood alone, hoping someone would stand up. The final class of the day arrived. Mason leaned forward, eyes cold. "You know, Mr. Carter," he said, "people like you never last here." The room went silent. Ethan slowly set down his marker. His heart was pounding, but his voice was calm. "Class," he said, "you have 60 seconds. Sit down. Phones away." They laughed, and that was the moment everything changed. Ethan reached into his pocket and pressed a button. The classroom door opened. The principal, Dr. Helen Wright, stepped in, followed by the school counselor and 2 district officials. The room went deathly quiet. Mason's grin vanished instantly. Dr. Wright's eyes scanned the class, then landed on Ethan. "Thank you, Mr. Carter," she said firmly. "That will be all." Confusion spread across the students' faces. She turned to them. "This classroom has been under observation for 3 weeks. Audio recordings, hallway cameras, anonymous reports from students who were afraid to speak up." Mason swallowed hard. Dr. Wright's voice didn't rise, but it cut deep. Bullying a teacher is still bullying, and bullying is abuse. Tyler tried to laugh it off. It was just jokes. Ethan finally spoke, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "Jokes don't make people dread walking into a room. Jokes don't humiliate. Jokes don't break someone's spirit." The counselor stepped forward. Several students in this class reported being bullied by the same group for years. Today was simply the first time the target wasn't another student. Logan's face went pale. Consequences came swiftly. Suspensions, mandatory counseling, parental meetings, leadership roles stripped away. The so-called kings of the classroom were suddenly just students facing the weight of their actions. But Ethan didn't celebrate. The next morning, he stood in front of the class again. Some desks were empty, others were filled with students sitting quietly, eyes lowered. "I didn't do this for revenge," Ethan said softly. "I did it so this room could be safe, for everyone." A girl in the front row, quiet, always ignored, raised her hand for the first time all year. "Thank you," she whispered. That single word meant more to Ethan than any applause ever could. Weeks passed. The classroom changed. Students listened. They spoke. They learned. Mason returned eventually, different, quieter. One afternoon he stopped by Ethan's desk. "I was wrong," he said, barely meeting his eyes. "I'm sorry." Ethan nodded. Growth starts with accountability. By the end of the year, room 214 became known as the one place where respect wasn't demanded, it was practiced. Ethan Carter was no longer the rookie. He was the teacher who stood his ground, not with fists or anger, but with courage, integrity, and truth. And the lesson everyone learned: never mistake kindness for weakness, because sometimes 60 seconds is all it takes to change everything. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you think, make sure you subscribe to Sage Stories for more powerful, emotional stories like this. What kind of story would you like next? Tell me in the comments.